To reduce financial stress, they're turning to a concerning trend that could leave them with some even bigger problems in the future.
Soft saving.
Soft saving.
Spend the money.
A new financial trend started by Gen Z
Your money for present day enjoyment.
that will award immediate pleasure in the short term,
Welcome to Maui.
but almost guarantees that you will spend the rest of your life working.
I'm 70 years old. I have no
I hate
retirement.
clocking in. I hate talking to managers.
I'm not saving for retirement.
What the According to a study done by TIAA, only 1 in 5 young adults in this generation are saving for retirement. Today I want to talk about that and how it's kind of scary. But more importantly, what is this new fashionable trend that promotes living in the now while sacrificing your freedom later? We have a problem. It seems like nowadays, more than ever, people just aren't saving enough for retirement. And there could be many reasons for this. Rising cost of living, higher than ever cost of education, food prices are up, gas prices are up, you name it. On the other hand, the lack of saving might stem from the growing belief that the future is too uncertain to plan for. For example, younger folks have grown up with the housing crash of 2008, as well as most recently the COVID era, which among other things made the rich even richer and the average man poorer. These conditions and uncertainty gave rise to a new trend, now known as soft saving. It's the practice of, along with paying rent and surviving, prioritizing the now. Saving for concerts, trips, expensive bags, whatever makes you happy today. Sounds like a good deal, right? Well, this practice does have some flaws, of course, but not in the ways you might imagine. Think of the practice of saving for retirement as a scale. On one side, you have the aggressive savers. Savers classified in this category could be associated with the financial independence, retire early movement, also known as FIRE. Despite the name, they're doing the complete opposite of burning their money, electing instead to save most of it for retirement, sometimes as much as 80 to 90%, depending on their income. Their main goal, retire as early as possible. No lavish shenanigans, no fun, living with 17 roommates to keep their rent down. I'm exaggerating, but the number one priority for them is to save as much as possible. Now let's move to the middle of the scale. This would be your sort of average full-time employee who has thoughts of retirement in their 60s. Usually this person will take advantage of their company's 401k match. Maybe have a Roth IRA or have an investing account of their own. Something along those lines. This is the route it seems most people end up taking, and it's still achievable for the medium income earner in the United States. With some planning, of course. Now, here's where things get a little concerning. When you get towards the bottom of the scale, you will find people who haven't even considered the thought of retirement for various reasons. One of them being is that they simply can't afford it because of low income. More rare at this end of the scale would be the undereducated group. These are the people who just haven't learned about personal finance or how to build wealth. They've never read Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I've never read that either. The individuals I would like to focus on today, a vast majority of them aren't in those groups. They're in the group I like to call the rebellion group. The majority of people that I've seen who identify as a soft saver belong in this group.
Tomorrow was not promised, which is why you should spend your money today. Why are you, saving all this money for my retirement 60 years from now?
I don't want to be over 65. I don't give a
The priority for someone here is not to make financial sacrifices for future gain. It's to prioritize the now at all costs. You can sort of think of it as a rebel's response to this uncertain future we have. Because of course, nobody knows where the economy or even the world will be when it's Gen Z's turn to retire. So the future is pretty uncertain. This is a common belief that has been present throughout history because of things such as war, stock market crashes, doomsday threats, attacks on our leaders, generative AI.
I think AI will probably lead to the end of the world, but in the meantime, there will be great companies.
So why am I saying all this? Well, uncertainty is often cited as a reason to stop thinking about the future as a whole. Take this question, for example. What's the point of saving your money when you could die tomorrow? It's certainly a thought-provoking question, but here's the issue with it. Have you ever considered that you might not die tomorrow?
You're a goddamn genius. That's the most outstanding.
Genuinely a great philosophical debate on r/stupid questions. But whichever mindset you adopt can absolutely influence whether you're a retire early or live in the now kind of person. The unfortunate part is that today it's getting harder and harder to do both. According to TIAA, more than half of Gen Z's monthly budget is spent on housing, squeezing out more of their room to save money. However, what is interesting is that despite this fact, 52% of young adults in this generation took 3 or more leisure trips last year. Even more interesting, 61% of them came from households making under $50,000 annually. Okay, it seems like soft saving appeals to Gen Z because it aligns with their circumstances, but also mainly their priorities? Well, at least it's easy to understand why this might be the case. Vacation is awesome. It can help you de-stress, and more than likely you'll have chances to make memories that last a lifetime. So how does this relate to soft saving then? Well, the whole premise is that since you're probably on a tight budget, you can't do both. You're saving for experiences and items and trips now by giving up more of that future security. And this isn't just some niche practice. 73% of Gen Z said they'd rather have a better quality of life now than more money in the bank, meaning more future security, or any at all.
What did you think you'd be doing at 66?
Oh, I would hope to be retired.
What are you doing at 66?
I'm working. I have a live for now philosophy, I guess.
So is this really the rebellion against economic uncertainty we originally thought it was? Or is it more of a quiet resignation to helping your future self? So according to Social Security in the United States, if you're already in your 20s, you have about an 85% chance of living till 65. So most likely you will be alive at that age where many people retire. Another question arises though. Why do I need all that money then when I'm old and decrepit? I'm in my 20s or 30s now, and these are the best times to enjoy life. Now that last part is something I absolutely agree with. When you're young, you have more energy and time to enjoy life. You can walk around all day, stay up late, the hangovers aren't as bad. But yeah, when you're younger, life is just better. But we've established that you'll probably be alive at that age to be considered an old fart. And that version of you deserves the same luxuries. Maybe not in the form of scuba diving in Costa Rica, but in the form of not having to suffer. There's a great saying that I've come across from the people in this community that goes something like this. You owe it to yourself to not die on the Walmart floor.
Surefire way to make sure you will never be able to retire and will literally die on the Walmart floor.
I don't want you to be 85 and dying on the Walmart floor.
At that ripe retirement age of 65, you will likely still be a conscious human being, but your body will be weaker. So that same philosophy that keeps you taking trips while you're young also applies when you're old. That being, when you're younger, it's easier to make a living for yourself than when you're old and probably a little bit more frail. That's not all though. When you're in your 20s, the money you save is worth significantly more in retirement than even your 30s and 40s. For example, let's say you invest $100 into your retirement account when you're 25. That $100 is worth $3,140 when you're ready to retire at 65, assuming an average market return of 9%. Compare that to investing $100 again when you're 35. Well, that would only leave you with $1,326, about half as much as investing that same amount 10 years ago. I'll leave a calculator in the description if you want to see for yourself. So let's say you've been saving for this 2-week-long trip, and between the plane ticket, housing cost, food, entertainment, etc., it'll run you about $3,000 total. You're in your 20s. Life is good. Now your friend decided to not go on the trip this time and instead invest that same $3,000 into a retirement fund. You are choosing an amazing experience that will last a lifetime. Your friend is choosing to gift their future self nearly $100,000. Both of these decisions yield immense rewards. And I'd argue it's not about which decision is right. It's all about finding a balance. So in highlighting just how potent the effects of your financial choices can be, whether it's a trip now or an investment in your future, both clearly have very long-term impacts. The danger lies in using soft saving exclusively, and as a means to sort of justify not being worried about the future. Stuff does happen, and it's important to be prepared for it. So the real question is life really meant to be lived for one extreme or the other? Well, of course, that decision is up to you. What you shouldn't do is guilt trip yourself for spending on meaningful experiences. But also don't use soft saving as a justification to not save for the future. Remember, you owe it to yourself to live well at every age, not just now or not just later. And you probably won't get hit by a bus tomorrow.
And shove it right up your hairy.
So that's soft saving and why you shouldn't use it as a means to hurt your future self. After all, it's a bad way to go dying on the Walmart floor. Have a great day.
Why do you think you're not going to be dying on the Walmart floor? If you never have a career situation
I
figured
might
out.
die on the Walmart floor when I go shopping next week. I don't know.